Hey, it's Maddie.
And it's Caressa.
You're not watching the Disney Channel right now.
You're listening to
Dreadfully...
Oh my god, I forgot to say Dreadfully Twisted. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Dreadfully Twisted.
There we go.
I'm leaving all that in. Hey everybody, we're back.
Dreadfully Twisted's back again. Dreadfully Twisted's back. Tell your friends, and family.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. We haven't been here for 2 weeks.
It is...
Blame it on me.
No, we are very sorry. Life is lifing, and it's lifing hard.
It was lifing hard for me, and I just needed a little bit of a break, so I'm sorry, but I hope you understand. But yeah, it was the, I wanted to, talk about that, I can't even speak, Aaron from Ghost Adventures.
Oh my god, yeah, that's insane.
Like, what the?
That is literally insane. And they look so happy together in, like, every picture and video, so it's, like, so confusing. Like, people are like, did a spirit get attached? But, like, that's insane.
Yeah.
I don't know what
and
to
then,
believe.
like, she hired a guy who murdered his whole entire family.
Yeah, I seen that.
And it was just like, oh my gosh. Yeah, if you guys haven't heard, Aaron Goodwin, right, is the last name?
Yeah.
Aaron Goodwin from Ghost Adventures, his wife hired a hitman to kill him.
Yeah.
But he didn't die. But she and the other guys in prison, right? But they got arrested.
So. I don't know, but I hope so.
Well, yeah, that's crazy.
Insane.
Sad.
Yeah.
I don't even know how long they were married for, but, like, it's just like, how did she even meet that guy?
I know. I have no idea.
Crazy. I'm just glad they caught it before it even happened.
I know.
Like,
I love him.
I know. Like, he's, like, I feel like universally, and this probably isn't really universally, but at least in my eyes, like, he's the favorite out of the Ghost Adventures, I feel like. So,
same.
It's just like,
oh my god, I forgot to tell you. We went to Buffalo Wild Wings last weekend, and I swear it was Zach Bagans' body double. Like, it literally looked from the back. First of all, I was like, I whispered to my mom, I was like, that looks like Zach Bagans. He turns around, he has the thick glasses, the black glasses, his hair looks exactly the shaggy black hair with the hat on, with the black hoodie on, and I swear the same facial hair. It literally looked like Zach.
Oh,
like a skinnier version of Zach. I was like, I swear this has to be like that. That's like a clone of Zach.
Well, have you seen the TikTok accounts of the person who pretends to be Zach, and he looks pretty like him?
Maybe that's him.
I don't know where he's from, but I'm gonna pause this for a second. But yeah, that's so funny.
I know. I was like, Zach, is that
Zach,
you?
is that you?
I said I'm gonna go up to him and say, answers.
We want answers. But yeah, so that happened. What was that? I heard
the house just cracked sometimes. It scares the heck out of me all the time.
Not a ghost?
No. Not a ghost.
Is your house haunted?
I don't think so.
I'm just wondering.
Yeah. I mean, a couple things have happened a long time ago.
Yeah. I feel like your house is, like, newer.
Yeah, it is. There was only, like, 2 people who, lived in here before us, I think. So.
Okay. But yeah, so then the Aaron Goodwin thing happened, and then on my way here to Maddie's house, I thought I was getting pulled over by a police officer because I was speeding down this road, and then it turns into a 25, but then there's a car behind me, and then there's a cop car behind that, and then once it hit the 25 miles per hour, he turned on his lights, and I was like, I'm getting pulled over. There's no doubt about it. So then I pulled over, but then he pulled the person over behind me, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm going. So then I kept going a little bit down the road, and then one of those volunteer fire cars had their lights on, so then I pulled over then. And then I turned onto this side road, and then I had to pull over again for another one. And then whenever I was, like, almost here, a fire truck went by. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, should I just get there, please? It's like, what is going on? And then I get up the hill, and then I see crows, and I'm just like,
what is happening?
It's not Friday the 13th, so it can't be this. It's Friday the 21st. Like, so yeah. But yeah, that's the eventfulness that has happened.
But she made it in one piece.
Oh, wait. So, there's another thing. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I do that all the time. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be rude. It's just my ADHD makes me jump in and things. But that was the other thing is, did you see about the Idaho murders? That they released the 911 call?
Uh-uh.
They released the 911 call, and then they released the text messages from between the two surviving roommates.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Oh my god.
And then, well, I think, if I can find it, I don't know if I can find it quick enough. The text messages, hold on. I think I'm gonna look it up. But then they also found DNA.
Charlie Brown snoring.
Okay. They found DNA from 3 people underneath Kaylee's fingernails.
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that.
Which is crazy.
It is insane. It just keeps getting more confusing. I feel like we want answers.
Yeah. So the text messages were DM to BF, which is Dylan to Bethany, I think. No one is answering. DM to BF, I'm really confused right now. DM to Kaylee. DM to Kaylee, what's going on? BF to DM, yeah, dude, WTF. BF to DM, Xana was wearing all black. DM to BF, I'm freaking out right now. DM to BF, no, it's like a ski mask almost. BF to DM, STFU. BF to DM, actually. DM to BF, like he had something over his head and mouth, but like that's kind of like messed up in like the texting. Like something is spelled wrong and is spelled wrong. DM to BF, I'm not kidding. So I am so freaked out. And then BF to DM, so am I. And then DM to BF, my phone's gonna die. Fuck. BF to DM, come to my room. BF to DM, run. BF to DM, down here.
Jeez. That's terrible. They were like awake while all this stuff was happening.
Yeah, but they were also like really drunk too.
Yeah.
But yeah, they released some of that stuff. But it's just crazy because like this case has always freaked me out. And that would like those text messages times were from 4:19 to 4:21 in the morning, which is between the times that they were murdered because I think the killer, which everybody thinks is Brian Koberger, he got there at 4:19 because you see his white Elantra or a white Elantra on camera around that time. But it's just like this case has always freaked me out, and the more things that get released, I'm just like, the heck?
I want to know, like, why all the DNA so weird.
Yeah, I think it was Kaylee, who had the DNA underneath her nails. But, I mean, people said that, like, they were around, like, they were out that night, so maybe, like, somehow she got underneath her nails by picking something up or something. Like, it's possible, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. I don't think one person could kill 4 people in 4 minutes.
I know, that's insane.
Or, like 5 minutes.
What sense does that even make? That's crazy.
I don't know.
And oh my god, I literally, how did he do it? I can't remember.
He stabbed him to death.
Okay, so how can you, that's like pretty much impossible.
Yeah, maybe we'll have like an episode talking about it because like I do want to talk about it because it does freak me out. So maybe we'll do that. But
I was thinking like maybe if he shot them, but no.
He used a military knife.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to make sure because it just doesn't make sense. Yeah. That whole case is so confusing.
It's very confusing and very, I kind of want to like dive into it and like go into it, but yeah, so that is all of that. I just wanted to talk about that for a second because I saw that like last week and I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is just never ending. Yeah. But yeah, today we have, what do we have for them?
Dr. Death Part 2, but it's about somebody else, so yeah.
Woo! I mean, not woo, but woo. Woo in the woo.
Also, one more thing. What is going on? Because there was another big plane crash that happened with, like, actors and, like, I can't remember, like, it was, like, Honduras or something, like, but, a singer was on there, and, like, an actor. I can't remember who else was on there, but there was, like, a bunch of, like, known people on there.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, what? Like, it's, like, crazy. It just keeps happening, like, and I feel like ever since, I don't know when it started, but, like, it's just been, like, non-stop. It's crazy.
There was also another plane crash maybe like 2 weeks ago in Lancaster, PA. Another one, it was a small plane with just like the pilot, but it crashed too. I'm just like, what is going on? Like, I'm never getting on a plane again.
That literally makes me never want to fly ever again.
I only flew technically twice, but like once there and once back. And I'm probably never going to do it again.
Yeah, I flew one time.
Yeah, I think we talked about that.
Yeah. And I was young and didn't have anxiety like I do now, so.
I was 21 when I flew for the first time, and I had a full-blown panic attack.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
I'm just like, oh, no.
Probably would now.
Yeah. It's like, knock me out before you get me on the plane. Because whenever I was getting on the plane, my sisters were like, you can sit by us. Like, sit by us. Like, we're going to have you sit by us. And I was like, no. I need to sit by Jeremy. Like, I need to. Like, don't separate me from him, please. Because, like, that's, like, the worst thing you can do. Because I was like, I need him. Like, I don't care. Like, I know you guys want to comfort me, but, like, don't separate us, please. Don't do that. And I was freaking out about that. And they're like, okay. Like, you can sit by him. I'm like, okay. I was just like, don't do that. Don't separate us, because then I'm gonna like just spiral even more than I was already spiraling.
Do not take me away from my comfort person.
Really? I never really thought of it that way. He's my comfort person. I never really thought about that. But anyway.
That's adorable.
Oh, thanks. I didn't mean to get all like cheesy there for a second. I just never really thought of that. I didn't know that was like a term.
Is it? I don't know. I think so.
Let's make it one now.
If it isn't, it is now. So, shall we dive in?
Yes.
Dr. Death, Part 2. Paolo Macchiarini.
Sounds like macaroni.
It really does.
I want some macaroni now.
Whatever you want to call him.
He's a bad guy, right?
Yeah, he's not a good person, so
he could be macaroni. No, he can't be macaroni, because macaroni's good.
That's true. Macaroni's really good. So no.
He's not macaroni.
No. He's macaroni with slime on it. Yeah.
I was going to say macaroni with fish in it.
Yes.
Because I don't like seafood.
Perfect.
Do you like seafood?
No.
Okay. I didn't think so.
No.
I'm
Please
sorry.
don't choke. Are you okay?
I'm good.
Okay.
I just like drank the water the wrong way. It was just like, I'm going to go down your like breathing tube, not your water tube.
Yeah.
My esophagus or whatever. I don't know. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm so unhinged today. Sorry, this is the first time in forever that I felt like a normal person, so.
Same.
Rehinging.
Paolo Macchiarini was born in Switzerland to Italian parents and has spoken of having had a difficult childhood in Basel, where by his own account he felt like a perpetual outsider in school. He attended the University of Pisa, where he would earn a medical degree with a specialization in surgery. I'm sorry, I just cannot talk. We haven't done this in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. I was gonna laugh because that town sounded like pizza.
It did.
I'm just like, so much food right now.
In 1986, Macchiarini started a family of his own, marrying an Italian woman, Emanuela Peccia, with whom he had a daughter and a son.
That's a pretty name.
It is. Macchiarini was treated like a celebrity and lived lavishly.
Of course.
But a pattern was emerging. His patients kept dying after their transplant surgery. Macchiarini suggested this was just the nature of such an experimental surgery, but as the deaths stacked up, nearly all of his transplant patients died. Transplant.
So, I guess you're gonna get into it, but the transplanting was like a new thing in Switzerland at this time?
This one was.
Oh, okay.
I'll show you. I'll explain.
I guess I should just wait.
Yeah.
And just
no, it's okay. It is okay.
I should just shut up.
I put that first, but it's just like, it's okay.
Oh yeah, it's just like a little like
whoop,
brief overview. I'm gonna shut up now.
But yeah, I'm gonna go into it. Don't worry, everybody. They uncovered evidence of misconduct, fraud, and manipulation. When journalists brought evidence to prestigious Karolinska Institute in Stockholm, where Macchiarini worked, the institute negated the allegations and defended him. Which is crazy, being because of what he did, but I'll tell you.
Okay.
During his rise to fame in 2013, he crossed paths with NBC News reporter Benita Alexander, who speaks out about her experience with Macchiarini. And in the Netflix series, which it's the show, Dr. Death, I think that's the one they're referring to, but yeah.
Okay.
That's season 2, if anybody wants to watch it. Benita Alexander was producing a documentary about the renowned surgeon when she began a love affair with him.
Oh.
Yeah. Macchiarini charmed Benita, allegedly lying about being a surgeon to the stars, including Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. He supposedly planned a star-studded wedding with promises of the Pope officiating performances from Elton John. Oh, sorry. of the Pope officiating and performances from Elton John.
I knew what you meant when you said it the first time. I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and Andrea Bocelli. He also said he had invited the Obamas, the Clintons, Vladimir Putin, Nicolas Sarkozy, and other world leaders.
Sure.
Okay.
We'll believe that was 100% a lie.
I almost called him macaroni.
Or he did invite them and they just didn't go.
Yeah. Macarini is reported to have claimed that Pope Francis had given his personal blessing for the wedding between the couple, both said to have been divorcees, and would host the ceremony.
Okay, talking is hard.
So, his wedding with good old Elton John, Andrea Bocelli, the Obamas, Vladimir Putin, and the Pope.
Officiating.
Yeah.
Hope you know I'm not cutting any of that out.
That's fine.
I might move it to the end, though.
The blooper reel. Okay, the Pope does not smoke. The Pope's spokesman said that the Pope had no personal doctor named Macarini, knew nobody of that name, and would not have officiated.
That's funny.
We spot a liar.
Yeah.
But as the big day approached, Benita Alexander saw these plans unravel and finally realized that her lover had lied about almost everything. The Pope, the palace, the world leaders, the famous tenor, they were all fantasies. 2 years later, Benita Alexander discovered Macarini had in fact been married to his wife for 30 years. Also, I can't find out what happened. I don't know if she left him directly after this or not. Or after, I know she definitely left him after she found out what he did, but
yeah.
I'm not sure if she left him directly after that or not. So,
but that's crazy.
Yeah.
30 years? That's a long time.
You nasty cheetah.
Wow.
In 2008, when Macarini created a new airway for Claudia Castillo, a young woman from Barcelona, he did this by chemically stripping away the cells of a windpipe taken from a deceased donor. He then seeded the bare scaffold with the stem cells taken from Castillo's own bone marrow. Castillo was soon back home looking after her kids. According to Macarini and his colleagues, her artificial organ was Her artificial organ was well on the way to looking and functioning like a natural one. And because it was built from Castillo's own cells, she didn't need to be on any risky immunosuppressant drugs. One of Macarini's other known surviving patients was a 10-year-old Northern Irish boy, Kieran Finn Lynch. Kieran is a pretty name.
I do like that name.
The teen was born with a rare disorder, long segment tracheal stenosis, and previous surgeries failed to fully repair his overly narrow airways. Kieran would be the first child to undergo Marini's care, the first child under Macarini's care to receive the transplant, and there is nothing online to suggest that he has had any related medical complications since. Macarini's wide-ranging academic appointments seemed to prepare him well for his star turn. In June 2008, he performed a trachea transplant using a donor organ seeded with stem cells. The operation in Barcelona on a 30-year-old mother of two, Claudia Lorena Castillo Sanchez, was heralded in the press as the dawn of the stem cell revolution by replacing cadaverous cells with, oh my gosh, these words are so big, I don't even know, autologous stem cells, that is, those harvested from the patient's bone marrow. Could have just said that.
Yeah, it's probably like a technical term, like a doctor term, and doctor terms are so hard.
I know. The technique held out the promise of minimizing organ rejection and reliance on powerful immunosuppressant drugs. Macarini himself called the operation a major achievement in the history of medicine. That was the first one I was talking about. Also, that's like kind of what made him famous in the first place, because they're like, oh, he can make like this stuff out of their own bone marrow, and like, so yeah. Meanwhile, Macarini's career soared. By 2011, he was working in Sweden at one of the world's most prestigious medical universities, the Karolinska Institute, whose professors annually select the winner of the Nobel Prize in Psychology and Medicine. Physiology and medicine. Psychology, okay.
Psychology is still part of medicine, just in a different aspect, but yeah.
There he reinvented his technique. Instead of stripping the cells from donor windpipes, Macarini had plastic scaffolds made to order. The first person to receive one of these was Andy Mariam Bayin. I'm so sorry if I mispronounce any of these names. They're so hard to pronounce. An Eritrean doctoral student in geology at the University of Iceland. His recovery put Macarini on the front page of the New York Times. He had a rare form of cancer and was referred by his Icelandic doctors after they stated that he was out of options. Bain died in January 2013. An autopsy found that the implant had almost completely disconnected from Bain's airway.
Oh.
And listen to this. Medical records show that Bain wasn't out of options. So they lied to him. He lied to him. Yeah. The panel said his tumor, which was only 2.5 centimeters long and 1 centimeter wide and was slow growing, could have been treated with laser surgery.
Makes me so sad.
I know. Although Bain was originally sent to Sweden only for the evaluation of his condition, within 48 hours of his arrival, Macarini had persuaded him to consent to the experimental surgery. Bain was also given a ton of drugs intended to prompt the growth of his stem cells. He received 10 times the recommended dose of one drug and another that was not approved for human use.
Oh my god.
The committee concluded that Macarini had deceived him.
Ugh.
What is wrong with you? By October 2013, when Macarini and Benita flew to Europe for another romantic getaway, she had, in her own mind, reconciled her personal and professional behavior. Quote, "The story was basically done by the time we went to London. It was all a little tweaking after that, nothing significant, and so I totally separated Paolo and work in my head," she explained. "I was in love because I had made a very personal decision to take a leap of faith for love, and I never looked back. I knew I was crossing the line at work, and I made a very conscious decision not to tell anybody else at work what I was doing." End quote. Macarini proposed to Benita Alexander on Christmas Day 2013. In the months leading up... Macarini and Benita went on trips to the Bahamas, Turkey, Mexico, Greece, and Italy. They went on shopping sprees and ate their way through Michelin-starred restaurants. Macarini even took Benita and her daughter to meet his mother at her home in Lucca. Macarini's mother shared pictures from the family photo album while her son translated. Emanuela Peccia, the woman who Macarini had married years earlier, lived only a short distance away.
The heck?
Huh?
Wow.
When Macarini informed Alexander during a dinner cruise that later that summer that his divorce had finally come through, she recounted he gave her an engagement ring. Macarini could be secretive at times. After his Christmas proposal, he told her that he could not stick around for New Year's because he was on call for what she said he termed an, quote, emergency VIP surgery.
Oh.
When she pressed him for details, he swore her to silence before telling her, as she recalled that he was part of a, quote, highly classified group of doctors from around the world who cater to the world's VIPs.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to just tell that lie too.
Yeah. She said Macarini over time revealed that he had operated on Bill and Hillary Clinton, Emperor Akihito of Japan, and President Obama.
Eye roll. Wow.
People who spent time with the couple said they heard Macarini talk about his high-level connections. An NBC colleague, Alicia Cohen, recalled, "I saw a lot of text messages between Benita and Paolo, and she would say, 'OMG, look what he just told me.' The text would say, 'I just left a meeting with PF, Pope Francis,' or with Bill Clinton and the Obamas."
Wow.
In October 2024, Benita recalled Macarini told her that he had met with Pope Francis for hours and that the pontiff consented to the couple's marriage, in yet another sign of his progressive tenor vowed, oh my god, I can't talk. I cannot talk today.
You're good.
Vowed to officiate. Benita and Macarini referred to himself as Pope Francis's personal doctor and maintained that in a subsequent meetings, his patients offered to host the wedding at his summer residence, the apostolic palace of Castel Gandolfo. Gandalf. Sorry, I had to say that.
Just imagine. You're always just telling these elaborate lies.
I know, it's insane. And he's going so far with it, too. Like, what?
It's like,
just insane.
I think he really believes it happened.
I know, like, it's crazy.
That's kind of sad in a way, but, like, I don't feel bad for him at all.
Know.
But, like, it's like...
The very next day, May 14th, Benita received an email from a friend. The subject line read simply, quote, "The Pope." It included a link to an article detailing Vatican plans for Pope Francis to visit South America in July, at the very time he was supposed to be officiating at her wedding. In that instant, the bottom fell out. A few weeks later, Benita would send an email to invited guests in 17 countries canceling the wedding. Many had already purchased flights, booked hotels, and bought new clothes for what everyone expected to be the wedding of the ages. Benita recalled that Macchiarini tried to blame the scheduling mix-up on Vatican politics and claimed that he was on his way to Rome to straighten things out. He maintained that her fears were unfounded and that he was acting in good faith that everything would work out as planned. He said the Pope would be cutting his trip short and returning early. Benita was unconvinced. Good. Mm-hmm. She confronted a painful reality. Quote, "I just didn't want to put two and two together," she said. "I didn't want Paolo to not be the man I believed him to be. I didn't want the fairy tale to end." After canceling the wedding, she emailed Macchiarini, quote, "I believed you were exactly who you presented yourself to be to me, to my friends and family, to the world. Congratulations, you charmed me, and all of us, into La La Land. I will never, ever understand how you could have done this to me, or to Jessie," which is her. Mm-hmm. "Who the hell are you, and what the hell is wrong with you?" End quote.
At least she, like, snapped out of it. I was able to see the truth.
Mm-hmm. As Alexander would discover with the help of a private investigator named Frank Murphy, virtually every detail Macchiarini provided about the wedding was false.
Of course.
A review of public records in Italy would also seem to indicate that Macchiarini remains married to Emanuela. Oh my god.
It's like you were like, Emanuela. Yeah, Lala.
What just happened? Emanuela. Emanuela. Okay. Peccia, his wife of nearly 30 years. So he literally didn't even get a divorce. He lied about that too.
My god.
Benita Alexander produced emails and WhatsApp chats to support her account of Macchiarini's claims of a relationship with the Pope. In a statement to Vanity Fair, Father Federico Lombardi, director of the Holy See's press office, was adamant, quote, "There is no personal doctor of the Pope with the name Macchiarini. The Pope has surely never promised to officiate the wedding of Macchiarini and does not know someone with the name." I already said that. Whoops.
You're good.
Okay, so it just gets worse. In 2010, while engaged to Benita Alexander, Macchiarini began a relationship with Anna Paula Bernards and had a child together. This was after her son Danilo died after being operated on by Macchiarini.
Oh my god.
Following a car accident in 2010.
Oh my god.
Is that not insane?
What is going on?
Like, what? However, Anna then shares that while she went on to sue the hospital that treated Danilo for manslaughter, who passed away following complications, she didn't hold Paolo Macchiarini personally accountable. At least not at first.
I was gonna say, like, what? Because he was the one that did it. Was that her kid, or was that
their kid?
Their kid together?
No, that was their kid together, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Or wait, I'm not sure if that was their kid, or if that was just
like
her
a kid that she had.
She might have had multiple kids, I don't know.
But, like, that's just crazy. Like, I didn't hold him accountable at first. But he was the one who performed it?
I know.
What? But, like, wow. That's crazy.
Insane. Anna adds that the pair then struck up an unlikely relationship when the surgeon began to regularly phone her following Danilo's death. During this especially vulnerable time, Anna develops feelings for Dr. Macchiarini, and the pair embarked on a relationship, traveling the world together. So, yeah,
it wasn't their kid then, because...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Traveling the world together. A few years into the relationship, Anna fell pregnant, with the couple's daughter. Their relationship came to an end in 2016 after Macchiarini's fiancée, Benita Alexander, went public with her story of being duped by the surgeon, who had lied about his professional accolades and their wedding.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't understand how he could keep all that straight. Like, you wouldn't know what lie you're telling.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
In 2012, Macchiarini was charged in Italy with attempted aggravated fraud related to alleged efforts to persuade very ill patients to undergo radical surgery at facilities where Macchiarini had privileges, and where he presumably had a more favorable financial arrangement than at Careggi Hospital. The charges had ultimately been dropped. Why?
What? That always happens.
He's literally, like, persuading people to get... I can't.
You're like, oh, it's fine.
Do this, new developmental surgery that will probably kill you. Mm-hmm. Like, okay. What is wrong with you? Like, clearly he didn't say that, but...
No.
What is wrong with him?
You just want to ask, what is wrong with you?
While acknowledging that Macchiarini seemed to enjoy a solid reputation as a surgeon and a researcher, one commissioner, Dr. Pietro Tonelli, concluded, quote, before coming to Careggi, he had never been a full professor, which also I forgot to put that, but he literally said he was a professor. Like, he was, like, literally saying he was, like, the best of the best. He was not. He didn't know, like, no, he wasn't. He had no qualifications.
Wow.
Macchiarini's next victim was 30-year-old Christopher Lyles, an electrical engineer for the Department of Defense from Abingdon, Maryland, and the first of Macchiarini's American patients to receive the transplant.
Wow.
Yeah. Christopher Lyles was diagnosed with cancer, but said he was, quote, thankful for a second chance on life.
Oh.
After his family saved money for the surgery, that's so sad, which took place in November 2011 at the Karolinska Institute in Sweden. Quote, it's just basically an experimental surgery. I just had to do it to save my life. Christopher Lyles' operation took place after Baynes, though Lyles died first.
Aww.
In March 2012, after returning home from Sweden, Christopher Lyles died at a Baltimore hospital, though an official cause of death was never revealed. But clearly, pretty sure we all know what happened. Like,
yeah,
2 and 2 together. That was terrible. Macchiarini would later be charged with manslaughter for the cases of Baynes and Lyles, but since their initial diagnoses were terminal, criminal charges were replaced with aggravated assault. Intent could not be established, and he was convicted of one charge of causing severe bodily harm instead. One!
How can it not be, established or, figured out? He was convincing these people to say yes.
Literally.
Obviously, he had intent there in the first place.
The justice system is so messed up.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
Yeah.
Before the Karolinska Institute declined to renew Macchiarini's contract in 2013, they later found him guilty of scientific misconduct. He traveled to Russia that same year. There he performed the transplant in 4 separate operations involving the failed synthetic trachea devices. In June 2012, Macchiarini performed the synthetic transplant on another car accident victim, 28-year-old Alexander Zozula. So sorry if I did wrong. Alexander also elected to undergo the transplant and was reliant on a tracheotomy. He died by 2014.
Oh my gosh.
He has not been charged in connection with any of the surgeries performed in Russia.
Ugh.
Another tragic case belonged to 25-year-old Turkish university student Yesim Sitter. Turkish surgeons mistakenly nicked Yesim, I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm going to go with Sitter, because it says Sitter for the last name. Mistakenly nicked Sitter's trachea after she underwent a routine procedure to correct sweating palms. He was referred to Macchiarini at the Karolinska Institute for the elective bioengineer transplant. However, Macchiarini would remove 1 lung and perform 2 transplants on the young woman, one in 2012 and another in 2013. As a direct result of the botched transplants, Peter underwent 191 additional surgeries.
That's a lot of surgeries.
As problem after problem presented itself. She had suffered at least 2 strokes. She had lost most of her vision, and she was partially blind and couldn't walk.
Oh Oh my gosh, that's so sad.
It's so sad. Panel of judges in the Swedish court later ruled Macchiarini was indifferent to the health risk posed by the surgery, according to Science. Dieter's new doctor also found Macchiarini falsified the results of past patients, including a report where Macchiarini stated the implant in his first patient developed wonderfully, when in fact fungus was found in the transplant in one of the patient's lungs and was completely obliterated from a chronic infection.
Wow.
Yasim Sitter died in a Philadelphia hospital in 2017. She was the 5th recipient of Macchiarini's plastic transplant. Macchiarini also claimed one of his patients was still alive despite the patient dying before the publication. Keziah Shorten had been suffering from adenoid cystic carcinoma and had a cadaveric trachea transplant initially. 1 year later, she had another trachea transplant, which was a plastic trachea transplant. However, Macchiarini denied his involvement in the surgery. Hello, that's his whole thing. That's what he's been doing. Plastic freaking windpipes and tracheas and like what?
And I'm like, sure, like, wouldn't you have to sign stuff as the doctor to say that you did it? So like, it would be documented somewhere.
Doesn't even make any sense.
Like what?
Yeah. Keziah couldn't survive because of the plastic rotting inside of her throat.
Oh my...
Yeah. Like what? That is literally terrifying and insane.
It literally grabbed my throat when you said that.
This one is so sad. And if you want to skip over, you could probably skip like 45 seconds probably. Here we go. Oh yeah, it's a young little kid, so that's why I just wanted to put a trigger warning. So the youngest of Macchiarini's transplant recipients was Korean-Canadian toddler Hannah Warren, who was just 2 when in Macchiarini's care. Hannah was born without a trachea, a rare condition with a 99% mortality rate. Hannah spent every day of her life hospitalized until the experimental surgery took place on April 9th, 2013 at the Children's Hospital of Illinois. He sadly died less than 3 months later. Prior to the surgery, Macchiarini gave loved ones and the medical community much hope about Hannah's chance at life and breaking new ground in the world of stem cell research. Ahead of the surgery, Macchiarini said, quote, "She will go from being a virtual prisoner in a hospital bed to running around and playing with her sister and enjoying a normal life, which is a beautiful thing," end quote. Hannah Warren was 1 month shy of her 3rd birthday when she passed away. That makes me so sad.
I'm about to cry.
Like,
so sad.
How are you gonna give everybody false hope? Like, their family. That's just so wrong.
Unless he was literally just that oblivious to how bad he was at it.
But I feel like he had to know this wasn't working.
Yeah.
Like, he had to know that wasn't gonna work. It's freaking plastic in your throat. Like, and who let this happen? Like,
I don't know.
That's not all.
Oh my god.
Yulia Tulik, a Russian dancer who had suffered a major accident causing her severe tracheal damage, put immense trust in Paolo Macchiarini in his plastic tracheal transplantation. In real life as well, Yulia was manipulated by Paolo, who aimed to experiment with his plastic tracheas on her. Eventually, she faced her tragic fate and died a painful death. When Anna finally realized that these tracheas were the only reason Paolo's patients were dying, she tried to warn her, asking her to take some time before going into the surgery. But she was desperate to get back to her normal life, and she fell into the trap and gave her consent to Macchiarini to perform the surgery.
That's always like the saddest part too, is because like you're going after people who are in a vulnerable state because they just want to get back to normal, or they don't want to be sick like anymore, or like they just want to be like whatever, and you're using that against them because you know they're going to say yes, especially if you convince them hard enough. And it's just like, why?
Yeah.
Why these cases infuriate me so much.
I know.
I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah, she died 2 years after the operation. 2 more recipients also underwent the synthetic transplants, though they weren't nearly as publicized as some of Macchiarini's previous patients. Sadiq Hanan had the transplant in 2013 but died sometime later. Hanan was a doctor whose windpipe had been badly damaged 20 years earlier from a horrific car crash, resulting in artificial ventilation and tracheal stenosis. The procedure took place in Russia's Krasnodar Regional Hospital, though no charges were pressed against Macchiarini, which that was one of the ones in Russia that he did that I should have put earlier, but didn't.
That's okay.
Around this time, scrutiny against Macchiarini grew, though he was still permitted to practice medicine.
What?
Yeah. In 2014, Crimean man Dmitry Onogda, also had the surgery, but he reportedly survived after the transplant was taken out. It remains unclear if there has been an update in his health. Macchiarini operated on 21 patients overall, and only 2 survived. He was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison.
Wait, what?
Yeah, by a Swedish court for aggravated assault against the patients he treated.
2.5 years.
So he's just living.
Is he still a doctor?
I don't think so. I sure hope not. I don't think after all that.
I would hope not. 2.5 years for killing 21 people. Or 19 people. Because 2 people survived, right?
Mm-hmm.
2.5 years.
Yep.
What? I'm sorry. That's not okay.
It is not.
He should be serving, like, life in prison.
Exactly. Like, all those people who died. You killed a whole child. Like, come on.
I have no words.
Yeah.
I have no words.
That was Dr. Death Part 2.
That was traumatizing.
It sure was, yeah. If you want to be even more traumatized, there's the show. Yeah.
Oh my god. What?
There will be a Dr. Death Part 3, but it's about a nurse.
Okay.
So, but I figured it kind of fits the theme of, like, the Dr. Death series I had going on, so I figured I'd just do all the doctor ones. You know?
Yeah.
So, the next one I'll do will be...
A nurse.
The nurse. Yeah.
No words.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's a lot to process.
It is.
It's like, what? I just don't get it. 2.5 years.
Literally, first of all, what is wrong with you?
Right?
Second of all, what is wrong with the justice system?
Yeah.
I hate him and the justice system.
Sometimes the justice system does justice, but sometimes it doesn't. And in this case, it did not.
Yeah. I also hate Christopher Dunn.
Oh yeah, that was the last one. I hate all the bad guys we talk about.
I know.
All the time. Okay.
Yes.
Wow. So, I guess if you would like to see the picture of this awful guy.
The worst thing is, like, he looks totally normal, too.
I think you did show me a picture before.
He looks, like, nice, which is totally the opposite.
Yeah, but sometimes there's those ones in there that they look fine.
I know.
Just like how people thought Ted Bundy looked normal.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, you never know, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess if you would like to see a picture of him, even though I don't think you would like to because he's an awful person, but we still say to do this.
A few of the victims I will have on there.
Yeah, so go there for the victims, not him.
Yeah.
Follow, like, share, comment on our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dreadfully Twisted Podcast. We also have a group page on Facebook. It's called Dreadfully Twisted Podcast Discussion Group. I can't talk either, apparently. You can also email us your stories, true crime or paranormal, or recommend cases or topics for us to cover. You can email us at our email address, dreadfullytwistedpodcast@gmail.com. Or you can go to that Facebook page, discussion group, or you can also go to our Reddit page, which is r/dreadfullytwistedpod. You can also rate the podcast on wherever you listen to podcasts. I know Spotify you can, and if you do, give us 5 stars. Yeah, and then you can listen to Dreadfully Twisted on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Samsung Podcast, Amazon Music, Podcast Index, Listen Notes, YouTube, and I think that's it. And please share our podcast with anybody that you know that likes true crime. That was just supernatural that flashed across the screen, and I saw it from like the corner of my eye after you pointed. I was like, you know they're taking it off of Netflix at the end of the year?
For real.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I got like really loud there for a second. I'm just like, seriously? I'm like, I need all the DVDs now.
Yeah.
But now that I just freaked out for a second, follow, like, share our podcast. It really helps us.
Yes,
and
please.
We really appreciate you guys. And again, so sorry for not recording for 2 weeks. Yes. Please forgive us. It was my fault. Just blame me. It's fine.
It is okay.
And we will see you guys next week. I
Yes,
promise.
we will.
I promise we won't do this again. And I mean that for real this time.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to cover next, but I will figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we appreciate you listening. We appreciate your support. We love you all.
We love you.
Do not be like
any of these terrible people we talk about.
And I don't know how to say his name, but I was going to say macaroni.
Paolo Macarini.
Macarini.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, don't be like him.
Yeah, no.
Be a good person. And we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, I didn't like how I said that. Oh my god, I started.
What?
Oh, I accidentally hit play.
Oops. Smokes. I can't talk.
You're doing great.
The Pope does not smoke. At least I don't think so. Okay.
Really good. I'm gonna look it up.
I'm not judging, so. Oh, okay. Let's see if we can read it.
Hold on, I'm gonna look this up. Does the Pope smoke? No, he does not.
Well, that answers that.
He had a lung removed when he was a teenager, so he can't.
Okay.
It's a
Oh.